Hello, Kelly Bear here. Welcome to my channel. Today I am with you for a deck unboxing and walkthrough. But first, I wanted to show you something really cute. Oh, I was gonna say, she tucked her little head into her snuggle cave just as I was about to show you that her little head was peeking out. Yeah, there's Dr. Nomi snuggled under there, but she has just, yeah, as you saw, tucked her head in to keep herself extra warm and cozy. It's not particularly cold today, but it is a very grey, it's very, I say it's very grey and it's raining, but then it will be really sunny for like half an hour and then it'll be really grey and raining. So I've just had to put the curtain up because it's currently, the sun's trying to come back out again, and it's just, it really messes with my camera settings. I think this is going to be okay. The cards I'm going to show you I think are quite matte. Now, as you will see from the title, the deck that I'm going to show you is the latest deck from Monica Bodirsky, which is the Between the Worlds Oracle. It's a Shadowcasting with Bone and Curio Oracle cards. Now, I have wanted this since I saw it was a thing. I can't remember, it was sometime last year that I saw that it was coming out, but there seemed to be some delays in getting it over here in the UK. And then the other day I saw someone, I think was in the UK, posting about it, or I saw it somewhere on a website and it was now available and it was £5 off or £6 off, and I was like, yoink. Very excited. So it arrived, and full disclosure, I have already read a large portion of the book. So I have read, and I think I mentioned it in a test live chat that I did recently, or was that when I was talking about my Shadowland Lenormand by Monica Bodirsky? But yeah, so basically I read up to the bit, all of the bit leading up towards the cards. I read the entry for the Raven, and then I read the bit about how to use your cards after all of the cards descriptions, I've read up until some of the timing information. I've basically read up until the bit which is up to the zodiac, because I was starting to feel really tired last night, so I had to switch the light out because I was falling asleep. As I want to do, I will fall asleep reading if I'm reading at night, which I'm trying to do more of. I'm trying to read more. I'm getting up in the mornings, and instead of taking my laptop downstairs and like watching stuff, or just mostly just trawling through Twitter, which is an absolute waste of my time most of the time. It's not doing me any good or getting me anywhere. So I decided I'm not going to take my laptop downstairs. I'm going to leave it on my desk where it should be, and I am going to read and do my journaling for the day with my tarot deck that I'm working with, which is the Wildwood. So yeah, it's been working out so far. But yeah, anyway, wow, get on with it. So yeah, this is the latest deck by Monica Bodirsky. I'm on a bit of a Monica Bodirsky kick at the moment because I got her Shadowland tarot for myself as a Halloween present in mid-October, and then my dear friend Simon at the Hermit's Cave bought me the corresponding Lenormand for Christmas, which I've recently done an unboxing and walkthrough of. And then I used some Christmas money to purchase this. So this is a Christmas present paid basically from my mum. I should probably let her know. I've got one in my, she likes to know what I buy with the money that she gives me. She bought me some presents as well, but she likes to give me a bit of money to like, because she knows I like tarot decks and books, and she doesn't always, she knows that I like to like have money throughout the year to like treat myself to stuff basically, which I really appreciate that she does. So I haven't actually looked at any of the cards. Any of the pictures that I have seen have been in promotional, of the cards I mean, is in promotional pictures, promotional material, and through a very brief skip through some of the cards, you know, just quickly looking at some of the cards because they have illustrations in the, but not, you know, I haven't looked at any of the cards. So they've still got the little band on them. Yeah, the cardstock is matte. They're not edged. It's very different to Monica Bodirsky's other work. It's very muted. It's very painterly. Like, well, she uses watercolors and inks, I believe, in her other two decks that are mass released. But she's doing it, she's using them in a different, she's using the medium in a different style, but yeah, you can still tell it's her work. The backs are really nice. We have some kind of it's a circle made out of branches and twigs growing almost like it's growing in that shape rather than it being a wreath that's been made into that shape. And then we have two keys, matching keys it seems, facing opposite directions, which I guess is making it reversible. And Monica does offer reversed meanings in the book, so there's that. So talking of the book, let's go back to it. So we get a really nice chunky book. It's printed on nice sort of papery paper, not that shiny plasticky paper, and we have full colour images, and we've got a really nice introduction. We have a foreword by Debbie Wilson-Dennard, who sounds really cool. I want to look her up. And then we have a preface from Monica herself. We have, I will try to remember to put in some, I keep forgetting to put chapters into my videos lately, so if people want to just jump to the cards, you can just jump to the cards, but I'm always interested to see the book. We have an introduction which has some lyrics, singing to the bones. And then in the introduction, because obviously I've read it, Monica talks a lot about her family and her ancestry and her art, and she talks about how she's always collected little charms and curios and tchotchkes, and how she as a child, from a very young age, from the age of about 5 or 6, started using these little things that she was finding as casting, as lock casting, just sort of intuitively, which I find fascinating. And that her family have a history of being card readers and advisors, sort of spiritually and magically, which I think is really cool. And so you just get this really lovely sort of backstory about how this whole deck came about, and ultimately what it is a selection of Monica's charms and curios that she has collected throughout her entire life since she was a child. She has picked out the ones that she felt were most pertinent and has turned them into cards to also honour her family's history with cartomancy. She also talks about how she was taking her curio casting set away with her, like going on flights to different countries, and then sort of starting to get a bit nervous about, you know, either getting in trouble for having certain things in her bag, or for losing them, and losing this thing that she has collected over the years and ascribed meaning to. And she said that to make them into a deck, it meant that it would make them easier to transport, less likely to get her stopped because she might have sort of sharp or pointy things or bones or things that people might think are quite strange. You know, airport security are less likely to flag her luggage, and there's the risk of them being lost. It's, you know, it's easier to get another deck or to reprint another deck than it is to find those original items. So she's picked, it's 46 items, and obviously she's ascribed her own meanings to these, but she does say that you can ascribe your own meanings to them. And I will just show you the first one that I read was the Raven. That's the first card. It's number 1. So you will see when you look at the book, you get, trying to get it to show, you get the number of the card, which I really appreciate that the cards are numbered. You get the title, you get the sort of the subtitle, you know, of what its meaning is, which is Seeker and Messenger, and then you get a story. And I believe this is a story from Monica's own life and experience, which I really like, and it's related to ravens. And then when you get an image, you get a little bit about the item itself, about where she found it, and it's a bead. So this drawing that you see, that will be the first one that I show you, is a raven-shaped bead. She'll give you the message that this card is giving you. Goodness, sorry, this camera just does not want to play ball. And some advice. Oh, there we go. And then you get an upright and reversed meaning for the card as well. And then, just like Monica's other decks, you get a selection of reflections and prompts that you can journal or even pull cards on, you know what I mean? And you get this for all 46 cards. So this is a meaty deck. Monica Bodirsky creates, and what I appreciate is that she is creating the deck and she's writing the book herself. I really appreciate that, because when you get books, decks that are created by an author that's writing the book and designing the cards, and then you get the artist, oftentimes with mass market decks, less so with indie decks, because there's more of a collaborative process I feel going on there a lot of the time. It's not like a mass market machine that's sort of putting out lots of decks and they have contacts and artists and authors, you know, on tap. There will oftentimes be books written by an author who doesn't reference the artwork in the deck that the artist has created, and it really frustrates me. And that was one of the reasons I ended up passing on the Modern Spellcasters Tarot, because you had this absolutely stunning artwork. I absolutely love the artwork in that deck, and there were some really interesting choices made, whether that was from the author's choice of directing design towards the artist, or whether it was the artist's own interpretations of the cards. It just was not referenced in the book at all, and I felt that was a really missed opportunity. It just really winds me up. But when you have the artist making the book themselves, sometimes you do fall into the problem of, like, an artist isn't necessarily a writer. I would consider myself an artist, but not a very good writer, and you sometimes that the book can suffer for that. But some people are artists and writers, and Monica is definitely one of those people. And so you get right from the horse's mouth what this card means, what that symbolism is, why is it in there, what does it mean to the artist. And I absolutely love that. So yeah, her books are chef's kiss, and I really feel like her Lenormand book and her tarot book can be used to read with other Lenormand and tarot decks, even though the imagery is different and the description is different. Once you get to the meanings, I feel like that can translate. And there are other tarot guidebooks that I use across the board that are not just from her. Slow down. Other tarot books, guidebooks that go with decks, I will use them in readings when I'm not using the deck that it's designed for. And two examples that come to mind are the Linestrider Tarot and the True Heart Intuitive Tarot. Those are two books that I pull all the time. And actually, now that I'm reading with the Raven's Prophecy again, I've been pulling that a little bit more, although that one does feel a lot more geared towards the artwork in that deck, but I'm quite enjoying some of the messages in that. Anyway, again, 12 minutes of preamble. All that is to say, the book is awesome. Now, two more things I want to mention. No, actually, I'll try to remember to mention them at the end. I will try. I'm going to write it on my notepad in front of me so I don't forget live. So I want to mention there's a podcast episode that I think will be really cool to listen to. And there was another deck that I was going to not compare it to physically in person now, but just one that well, I guess I can say it actually now. It puts me in mind of Patrick Valenza's Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. The deck or the cards are a bit bigger than that deck. I will measure it because I always, it's more difficult with oracle cards to sort of compare them. So the width is 6.2 centimeters. The length is 8.8 centimeters, and the depth of the deck put together is again about 2.3 centimeters. I don't have inches on my rule, I'm afraid, because we live in metric land here in the UK. But you know, those of you that use inches, you can just put those into a converter and get the sizes in inches if you need to. So yeah, it's a nice size, a little bigger than Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle, but this one has, you know, like a guidebook with it that you can really, a full-on guidebook. Because yeah, there's a PDF I believe with the Mildred Payne, because I created my own guidebook for that with a mixture of both my meanings and Patrick Valenza's. But yeah, not guidebooks, the printouts, not the printouts, the little fold outs, that's it. My goodness, my brain. Not PDFs. It's some of the other, but the Oracle of Black Enchantment and the Triumphi, they have PDFs, that's it. I just realised my tea's going to go cold. So anyway, let's get into the cards. So we have Raven, And I'm just gonna, I don't really have much to, I literally really have not seen that many, so we have car, the doll's arm. I really love the cardstock, for starters. So these are physical objects from Monica's collection that she has painted. And she said she has loads more, but she picked the one she felt were most pertinent, because obviously you could end up with like huge stack of cards, and you need it to be sort of usable, don't you? You need it to be usable. So we have the doll's leg. I think I need to go like right close up and then pull out with this camera. Ring. Oh, if you can hear my tummy grumbling, I apologise. It's coming up for lunchtime. My tummy is letting me know. Skull. Well, I am so here for the skull. Come on, camera. Looks like it's a bead because there's a hole in the top there. But you can see what I mean. You can still tell that it's Monica's work. It's still got those little flashes of yellow, which I really enjoy, because I say it reminds me of my own sketchy work. The little dashes and cross hatching and things like that. You can still see that it is notably a Bodirsky deck. We have Wishbone. We have Key. Cat. Thimble. Compass. Oakwood. Come on, you bugger. I should have made a top-down video with my phone. Oh. What was this one? Fulgurite. I don't think I've ever heard of fulgurite before. There we go, you learn something new every day. Turtle. Oh. Cute. Rabbit bone. Coyote tooth. Pen tip. I love the mixture, like the mixture, because I've been putting together my own charm casting set, because you know I use charms to make my tarot pouches, and I'm like, why am I not putting some of these aside to make a charm casting set? So that's what I started doing last year. But I've also started including things that are not actually charms, like dice and other pieces of jewelry, like a ring and a pendant and beads, and it's really fun. There's I think there's some chips of crystals. I can't remember in there. But oh my god, this camera drives me up the wall. Stowrelite. Take a shot or a sip of tea every time I complain about this camera. Like Becca with her swine camera, swine cam, several years ago. Sundial shell. Oh, I've not just heard them described as that before. Interesting. Tulip shell. I've not heard them described as that either. I'd have them described as a conch shell. Is that a conch shell? Oh my god. Ooh. Yeah, I should have done top down, but the lighting, I usually get really bad lighting when trying to film top down. Maybe I'll have a go at filming a top down afterwards, and maybe I can insert it into this video and then just film an outro. Or I could try filming one top down and then just put that up separately as like a silent or just a quiet walkthrough. Oh my god, camera. Really need to get a proper wolf knuckle. Sorry, did I say what that last one was? Bound person. I'm not even doing my job at, like, just my job, you know what I mean, not my job, but the job that I'm trying to do here right now of like showing you these cards. I wish I got paid to do this. Oh my god, can you imagine getting paid to just show decks? That'd be nice. A heart. Oh, that heart looks a little gnarly. Antique coin. Oh my god, the owl on it looks like the owl from Clash of the Titans, the little clockwork owl. Oh, AOE. Interesting. Bear claw. Grr. I approve of this card very much. Obviously, being a bear. Cute. Vertebra. Oh, I wonder what animal this vertebra is from. Acorn. Acorns now make me think of Oak, Ash and Thorn tarot for obvious reasons, because oaks, but also there's lots of lovely acorn imagery in that deck. Quartz point. Oh, I feel like this would pair really nicely with the Oak, Ash and Thorn. I can't wait to decide on, that's what I'm going to do later today. I'm going to be working out what I'm going to pair this with. Button. This button looks like a natural wooden button. Isn't that cute? I collect buttons. Well, I don't collect them. I have loads of buttons because I worked in the fashion industry for years. And you just made my own stuff as well. And you just end up accumulating. Amber necklace. Oh, interesting. I don't know if I would like cast with an amber, with like a full stringed necklace. That's interesting though. You could see the way that the beads fall around the different charms could create different sections, because they would loop around certain charms and create little subsections. That's interesting. Casting. Coffin nail. Oh, I really want like a coffin nail or a railroad spike for something. The place that I last saw them have sold out. It's a place in the UK that's a Etsy shop in the UK that sells loads of cool trad witch and folk witch stuff. Actually, I haven't seen them post anything on their shop for ages. I wonder if they're still going. Atlas Bone. I can't remember the name of the shop for the life of me. I'd only know it to look through my favourites. Gold coin with the bunny on it. Long bone. Got 10 left now. Short bone. Raven claw. Not the HP Raven claw. Hagstone. Next time I'm on a beach, which who knows when that'll bloody be, I'm going to be looking out for hagstone because I've never found one. Wishbone. Wishbone. Horseshoe. What? Why did I looked down at it and thought wishbone, but didn't read, and because my eyesight's really bad and my eyes went a bit cross-eyed then. My brain said wishbone, but did we just have wishbone? No, we had it near the beginning, didn't we? But like my brain just filled in, and then I saw the horse. I'm like, what? That's not a wishbone. And then I read the bottom, like brain fog, brain fog. Bird bone. I wonder what bird bone that is. Jawbone. Loving all the bone cards. I wish I had more access to being able to find bones, but living in a city, it's harder. There was a couple of years, about 2 or 3 years ago, my husband was walking, and in the local P-A-R-K, I have to spell it because Nomi will get all excited. He found, he saw just in the corner in the bushes a fox's jawbone, lower jawbone, and it had been picked clean. It looked like it'd been there for ages, and maybe another dog had like gone in and found it and pulled it out of the bushes where it had maybe been decomposing, and hadn't and then their owner probably freaked out and told them to put it down. And then he was like, oh, when I go back tomorrow, he said he kicked it back under the bush a little bit. He said, do you want me to pick it up for you when I go back tomorrow? And I was like, yes, please. And then when he went back, it was gone. I was like, oh, some other lucky witch or a dog got a hold of it. So, but yeah. Also, it's important to ask the spirit of the dead creatures, if it's okay to take their bones, because just because there's bones lying around or remains lying around doesn't mean that you should take them. Always ask. It's the same when I'm foraging. I will always ask the plant, you know, I would like to take some of your berries or your leaves or your flowers, whatever it is that I'm taking, and ask them if it's okay. Sometimes they say no, and I have to respect that. It's also really nice to leave an offering. I usually pour a little bit of water and say a few words. Devil head. That's cool. And the final two cards, we have a ladder and beaver tooth. Cool. So this deck, obviously, as I said in the book, Monica has her own meanings, and she fully encourages you to make your own meanings for it. And it put me in mind of a podcast that I listened to last month. It's an episode of the Placebo Magick Podcast. It's a magician, a sorcerer who comes at magic from a psychological model perspective, from an atheistic perspective, but in the fact that but considers it still useful. He's got some really great episodes actually, but I think it's one of his more recent ones, and it's called Making Meaning, I believe. And I really, really recommend that, because it really puts to mind, you know, trying to curate a lot casting system of your own, whether that's charms or, you know, curios or a mixture of all of those. He gives a really good sort of framework, a really good way of going about creating meaning, not, you know, just generally in your life, whether it's to do with colours or, you know, symbols, things like that. And I just think it's a really interesting and useful episode to listen to anyway, because all of us here that are into tarot and oracle and divination generally are interested in signs and symbols and meaning, obviously. So that it's interesting in that perspective. But if you are looking to create your own casting system, your own casting set rather, and system, it's really good to listen to help you sort of work out what things are going to mean. So like Kelly Fitz of The Truth in Story has like a basic Lenormand set of charms, and then other ones as well, which I think is another really good way of starting your own casting set, like a charm casting set, for example. But yeah, I really, really like this deck. Now that I've finally done the walkthrough, I can, I've just realised I was going to try and film a top-down version as well to see if it works, because I don't know, this webcam's not great, and I don't know how good this walkthrough's been. But yeah, it shuffles beautifully. I can overhand it really easily with my janky thumb, really nicely. The cardstock is sublime. It's a really nice size. The susurration sound it makes is really satisfying. I'm not going to try and riff or shuffle, but yeah, I'm really, really happy with it, and I can't wait to play with it and work out which decks I am going to pair with it. So yeah, that's the deck. Thank you so much for watching. Do you have this deck? Are you waiting on this deck on pre-order if you're here in the UK? If you do have it, what do you think about it? Have you been using it, or are you just sort of reading the book and just sort of reading the book first? And if you have been using it, how are you finding that it reads for you? Are you enjoying the meanings that Monica gives you in the book? Or are you sort of coming up with your own meanings, or a bit of both, right? You could write your own meanings in the book as well, I guess, at the bottom underneath the reflections, or you could stick post-it notes in or something. Yeah, do you have any favourite cards from the deck? And if you're pairing it with tarot decks or other oracle decks, let me know what they are, because I'll be interested. Oh, I think this would pair nicely with the Antique Anatomy as well. All these like muted, painterly or vintagey looking decks. Oh, the wooden tarot. Oh, okay, I'm going to go now because I'm getting carried away. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, especially if you've made it this far. My goodness. bless you. And yeah, you take care of yourself, and I shall see you in the next one. Ciao.